The men's 100 meters final at the 2025 CARIFTA Games delivered pure Caribbean sprint drama from start to finish. With Jamaica, Trinidad and Tobago, the British Virgin Islands, and several rising sprint nations all fighting for gold, the atmosphere inside the stadium was electric. In this video, we break down how Jamaica completely took control of the race, analyze the explosive starts, the key tactical moments, and the incredible finishing speed that destroyed the competition. We will also examine the performances of Dylan Woodruff, Elon Bazine, Antonio Powell, and Jamal Stevenson in one of the fastest and most exciting junior sprint finals of the season.
It's not Jamaica's games. Final of the under-20 boys 100 meters coming up, and what a final this is. This is as open a 100 under-20 final as I've seen in a while. Yes, we've had some high-quality finals in the last few years, but I can't even begin to hazard a guess as to who will win this one. On the inside, Jaden Jackson of the British Virgin Islands, 10.65 in qualifying. Antonio Powell of Jamaica, 10.59 in qualifying. Etham Sam won his semi-final at 10.70. Looked very, very cool, the double sprint medalist at the under-17 level 2 years ago. This man, I thought, looked the best of them all. Lan Bizasine of Guadeloupe, 10.43 in qualifying. Jamar Saunders of St. Vincent and the Grenadines won his semi-final, as did Jamal Stevenson of Jamaica. Stevenson looked very, very easy. Dylan Woodruff qualified as a non-automatic entry into this championship race, but I wouldn't bet against him getting a medal or even winning it. Aidan Kelly of the Bahamas closes out the field in lane number 8.
Just a moment of prayer for Dylan Woodruff as he readies himself to compete here. He's won a couple of titles in the 100 meters over the last couple of seasons and has really given himself a huge name in Trinidad and Tobago. Many see him as one of the greats of the future.
It's all about having the ability to hold your nerve. I think this race has that look about it. Last year I expected it to be competitive with a number of standouts, 3 or 4 of them maybe, and Devontae Howell, the Caymanian, absolutely blew the field away, and I thought should have gotten Johan Blake's record had he not eased up with about 10 meters to go. So was the comfort level. Ran 10.15 to defend his title. This year we'll have a new champion, but it's so difficult to even begin to figure out who that champion will be. And I'm just realizing, by the way, that Jamar Saunders of St. Vincent and the Grenadines is not there. So we are down to 7. So we're getting word that Jamar Saunders of St. Vincent and the Grenadines actually cut his finger, and they are giving him a minute or so to get it sorted out before the race. Yeah. Boy, we've seen it.
I think it was in adjusting the blocks more likely. That's where he would have cut himself, because I do remember seeing him doing a practice run and then all of a sudden he disappeared. So been one of the races earlier, and that was because the record, the CARIFTA record in the pole vault, was broken. It has been broken twice actually, so 2 have gone over it, and that was the reason for that hold-up.
Relatively new event, the pole vault at the CARIFTA Games on the girls' side, only in its 3rd year. Tension rising for the final of the under-20 boys. One part of the spectacle. It is part of what makes competition what it is. You can make all the predictions in the world, but at the end of the day, it's all about what happens on the day.
I know you've done a lot of cricket, and cricket is usually called the game of glorious uncertainties. I tell you what, today has taken that title over.
It certainly has. There is Saunders now, apologies, making his way to the start area. Won his semi-final. Produced a silencing act at the end of it. On the 20 boys 100 final, Johan Blake of Jamaica has the games record 10.11 in 2007. Saunders gets an opportunity to do a block start. This is it. The under 20 boys 100 final. Jackson, Powell, Sam, Bizzacine, Saunders, Stevenson, Woodruff and Kelly. Off they go. Jamal Stevenson of Jamaica got away brilliantly. Ethan Sam is running well. Bizzacine, Woodruff is coming forward. Stevenson has them beat. Redemption for Jamal Stevenson. The little boy from Waterhouse. No need for an apology tonight. He's the CARIFTA Games champion.
What a run and what a story for Stevenson. Wasn't part of the original plan for the 100 meter. He is the plan now. He's not moving.
The boys under 2100 meters final at the 2025 CARIFTA Games was more than just another junior sprint race. It was a direct reminder that Caribbean sprinting continues to produce extraordinary talent year after year. And once again, Jamaica proved why it remains the dominant force in regional sprint development. In front of a loud home crowd in Port of Spain, Trinidad and Tobago hoped to celebrate a historic victory, while several rising stars from across the Caribbean arrived believing they had the speed to challenge for gold. But when the pressure reached its highest point, Jamaica delivered a performance that completely changed the race. From the moment the finalists walked onto the track, the tension inside the stadium was obvious. Every athlete understood the importance of this event. CARIFTA titles have historically launched the careers of future Olympic finalists, world champions, and global sprint stars. The atmosphere reflected that reality. Fans were not simply watching a youth competition. They were watching the next generation of Caribbean sprinting fight for recognition. Lane 1 featured Jayan Jackson of the British Virgin Islands, an athlete who had steadily improved throughout the rounds. His qualifying time of 10.65 seconds demonstrated consistency, but many analysts questioned whether he possessed the explosive acceleration necessary to compete with the favorites over the final meters. Still, simply reaching this final represented a major achievement for the British Virgin Islands program. Next to him stood Antonio Powell of Jamaica, one of the athletes carrying enormous expectations entering the race. Powell's 10.59 in the heats showed impressive control rather than maximum effort, and many observers believed he had significantly more speed available. Jamaican sprint culture places enormous pressure on young athletes because of the nation's legendary history in the event, but Powell looked calm and focused throughout the build-up. Grenada's Ethan Sam entered the final with growing confidence after winning his semi-final comfortably in 10.70. What stood out most about Sam was not just his time, but how relaxed he looked while running it. His stride mechanics appeared smooth, and his ability to maintain form late in the race suggested he could potentially challenge for a medal if the race became tight. However, one of the biggest talking points before the gun was Guadeloupe's Elon Bazine. His impressive 10.43 during qualifying immediately transformed him into one of the favorites for gold. That performance forced the entire field to pay attention because at junior level, a time that fast changes the psychology of a race. Suddenly, every athlete knows they must produce something exceptional to win. Meanwhile, St. Vincent and the Grenadines faced an unfortunate setback through Jamar Saunders. A cut to his hand shortly before the race caused visible concern and delayed preparations. In sprinting, even small disruptions before the start can have enormous consequences because athletes depend heavily on rhythm, focus, and emotional control. Saunders attempted to remain composed, but it was clear the incident affected the build-up. Jamaica's second finalist, Jamal Stevenson, perhaps entered with the least external pressure, yet he quietly became one of the most dangerous athletes in the field. Originally viewed as a replacement rather than a primary contender, Stevenson shocked many spectators with the ease of his semi-final victory. His composure stood out immediately. While other athletes celebrated qualification emotionally, Stevenson looked completely locked into the task ahead. Then there was Trinidad and Tobago's Dylan Woodruff in lane 7. The home crowd erupted every time his name was announced. Woodruff carried not only personal expectations but also the hopes of an entire nation desperate to defend home soil against the powerful Jamaican sprint machine. His previous national performances had already established him as one of Trinidad and Tobago's brightest young prospects, and many believed the atmosphere inside the stadium could help push him toward victory. Aidan Kelly of the Bahamas completed the field, representing another nation with a proud sprint tradition. Although not considered among the primary favorites, athletes from the Bahamas have repeatedly shown the ability to produce surprises in regional championships, particularly when pressure affects the bigger names. When the athletes settled into their blocks, the stadium became almost silent. In elite sprinting, the start often decides everything, especially in junior races where nerves can destroy technique instantly. The gun fired cleanly, and immediately Jamaica asserted control. Antonio Powell exploded from the blocks with tremendous reaction speed. His drive phase looked powerful and efficient, allowing him to gain early momentum within the first 30 meters. Stevenson also produced a remarkable start, immediately placing 2 Jamaican athletes in commanding positions before the field even reached maximum velocity. For Woodruff, the opening phase became problematic almost instantly. While his top-end speed remained competitive, his reaction out of the blocks lacked the explosiveness necessary against such elite starters. Chasing from behind against Jamaican sprinters is one of the most difficult situations in Caribbean athletics because Jamaica's young athletes are trained aggressively in maintaining pressure once they gain an advantage. Elon Bazine initially appeared dangerous through the middle section of the race. Around 50 meters, his stride frequency allowed him to stay within striking distance of the leaders. But the decisive difference came in the final meters, where the Jamaicans separated themselves completely. Stevenson's closing speed stunned the crowd. Despite entering the competition with limited expectations, he attacked the final phase with exceptional confidence and relaxation. His form remained controlled while several competitors tightened under pressure. That ability to stay technically efficient during maximum velocity is often what separates future elite sprinters from talented juniors. Powell matched that aggression perfectly. Instead of fading after his explosive start, he maintained remarkable turnover deep into the race. The synchronization of Jamaica's 2 sprinters completely overwhelmed the rest of the field. What initially looked like a balanced final quickly transformed into Jamaican domination. The home crowd attempted to lift Woodruff during the closing meters, but the gap continued to grow. Trinidad and Tobago fought bravely, and the British Virgin Islands also produced a respectable performance, yet Jamaica operated on another level technically, physically, and psychologically. This final once again demonstrated why Jamaica remains the benchmark in Caribbean sprinting. Their junior system consistently produces athletes prepared not only for fast times, but for high-pressure championship racing. The ability to execute under expectation, maintain relaxation at maximum speed, and dominate the critical final meters continues to separate Jamaican sprinters from many of their regional rivals. Most importantly, this race proved that the future of Caribbean sprinting remains incredibly strong. The raw talent displayed across the field suggests that several of these athletes could eventually transition successfully towards senior international competition. But on this night, there was no debate about who owned the spotlight. Jamaica arrived in Port of Spain under pressure, and they left the track having completely destroyed the competition in one of the fastest and most exciting sprint finals of the entire CARIFTA Games.